Shema Yahshua Yahawah Allah Yahawah Yahawah Achad Shema Yahshua Yahawah Allah Yahawah Achad Shema Yahshua Yahawah Allah Yahawah Achad Brakatha Yahawah, Brakatha Yahawashi, Brakatha Yahawah, Brakatha Yahawashi, Brakatha Yahawah, Yahawashi, Bahasham Chahakudash. I want to give double honors to our elder apostles, elder bishops of Great Millstone rule well, as well as peace and blessings, health and wellness to the house of David the elect. All right. Shalom to you, beloved Akim. All right, shalom to you brothers and sisters, all right, who are tuning in to this radio frequency, who are tuning in to this live stream. Let me keep it simple, okay? But I was thinking upon this lesson. I was thinking upon this lesson this morning, all right, when we think about certain things we have to do to get into the spirit, you know, and when it comes to this truth, all right, it's like a radio frequency. It's like a station. It's like a radio station, all right? But you have to modify your life, your regimen, your routine, your daily habits to align yourself with this particular frequency, okay? The station is on 24/7, all right? The station is on 24/7, man. All right. It says Psalms 119. All right. How that line goeth forth. All right. And I don't know if it's enough brothers on the comment board, enough brothers in the live stream right now. But if a brother's not mobile, if a brother could get that scripture for me, is it Psalms 19? It slips me, all right? But it says his line goes forth day after day or day and night, you know? It's like a wavelength, man. It's like a stream, it's a flow, okay? But one thing I realized is that every individual brother has to modify his spirit, using Esau's term, his frequency, to channel in, keyword channel, all right, to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi's frequency, his spirit, okay? But this truth, all right, and how it manifests through Akim's videos, all right, or brothers Akim sending videos, okay? All right, it's always there. All right, until the Most High shuts it down. Hey, the water, bro, the water. All right, Psalm 19. The heavens, this is from GMS Rakha Gabar 144. The heavens declare the glory of Yahawah, and the firmament showeth his handiwork. Day unto day uttereth speech, and night unto night showeth knowledge. All right, it's like a radio station, man. And even when you're not tapped in, that radio station is still going, okay? All right, even when you're not tapped in. So, for example, you driving, right? And you might have the regular radio on, right? And let's say you decide to turn the power off. All right, so you don't hear any music. Or you don't hear the speaker on that particular station at that particular broadcasting company. Does that mean that speaker stopped speaking? No, he's still speaking. But it's not until you turn the power on and turn the volume up to you channel in to something that was already existing. All right, so ever since ultimately 1969, all right, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, he manifested, he opened up a radio station, man. All right. But what does the scripture say? The elect have obtained it and the rest were blinded. All right, because it's a particular wavelength, all right, that only the body can understand. Let me get another example. It tells you in Revelation that they sang a song that only the elect can sing. All right, because nobody else was tuned into the station that played the song. Okay? So let me get this definition for radio. This is the definition of radio. And I'm just gonna get to the etymology. It's from the Latin radius, which radius goes back to ray or beam, like a ray of light. Radius, the word radio goes back to the Latin radius, which goes back to the word ray, R-A-Y, like a ray of light. So this truth is like actually like a ray of light. Okay? What did Yahawashi say? I am the way, the truth, and the light. Okay? What does the scripture say? Ecclesiastes? Wisdom maketh the man face to what? Shine. Because he's tuned into Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi radio. Hey, my phone chimed when I did that, when I said that. Okay? Once again, word radio is a station being played. When you tap into the apostles' videos, we tap into the brothers' videos, brothers on the highways and the byways pursuing the Psalm 19. All right, that's that line going forth. But we can say that line is like a ray of light. It's a wavelength. Okay? It's a wavelength. All right, that's being channeled from our phones to the satellites. All right, back to brothers' phones, back to brothers and sisters' computers. All right, it's a ray. It's a beam. It's a line. Because what is a ray? It's a line, or it's a line of light. It's a light going in a line. Hence a wavelength, a channel of light. Okay? Doesn't get all deep, but it's just facts. You know? But it tells you in Psalm 19 that line goes forth. All right? Day and night, it goes forth. So you can turn into Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi radio, also known as the videos on the Great Millstone, starting with the apostles of Great Millstone, man. And that's that line, that's that radio, all right, which goes back to the word ray, which ray is like basically a light, but that's going in a line. Okay? But it's only a message for the elect. All right? Because what did Yahawashi say in the book of John? It says St. John 10:27, my sheep hear my voice. And they, when I, and brothers can help me out, I'm roughly paraphrasing. All right, my sheep hear my voice and they come calling. My sheep hear my voice and they come calling. How do we hear his voice? All right, first we planted that seed in us, man. You ever had a song in your head? All right, and the song the song that was in your head made you want to look up the song on YouTube or just on the internet. All right, well, Yahawah Hashemah Shai, he planted a seed in the minds of the elect. All right, and a brother might have walked past the camp. Our brother might have overheard someone talking. Brother might have ran across a video on TikTok, YouTube, and something hit him. It activated that seed. The seed hatched. All right? And he tuned in into the channel of Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi. Okay? But that station is always on, 24/7. All right, until Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi says otherwise. Because the scriptures speak about a famine of the word, man. But I'm doing this live stream because in my walk, I've realized that the channel was always there. The channel was already there. It is a matter of you modifying your soul to be in tune with that channel, to synchronize yourself to the energy and the spirit of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. It's a flow. It's a divine flow. Okay? But once you modify your life, what do I mean by that? You know, you pray, you fast when you can, okay? You modify certain habits, you cut off certain vices, all right? You incorporate certain things into your diet. You might take away certain things from your diet, but what that does, that raises you to the frequency of what they call vibration of Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. You're turned into his radio station. Hey, shalom, brother. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Okay? And every brother has a different spirit, a different wavelength, so to speak. He dances at his own beat. All right? So what works for you to get you tapped into the spirit is not going to work for the next brother to get him tapped into the spirit, man. All right? But that's why the scripture said, prove thy soul in thy life. You know? It's part of the walk. That's one thing I noticed too. You know, certain things you might find, a lot of things you'll find being said in the lessons. All right? Certain things you'll find in the scriptures. But certain things, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi has it set up to where you have to just go through it and experience it and have a little trial and error. All right? Make your adjustments, do your trimming, make your modifications. You know? Hey, shalom, Yahawah, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, Bahasham Hakodash Bakatah. All right? There we go with that word light. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment. Matthew 6:22. The light of the body is the eye, which is the mind. If therefore thy eye be single, thy whole body should be full of light. That's called concentrate. It's called focus. When you take a light and you concentrate it, that's a ray. That's a ray, which goes back to radius, which goes back to radio. It's a ray of information, a ray of data, a ray of wisdom, knowledge, understanding. All right? That line, pursuant to Psalm 19, the water for bringing up the scriptures. Okay? You see? Because there's so much going on. All right, you know what happened out there? Was that in Utah? Was that Charlie Kirk? All right. You know what happened? All right, concerning, all right, the lady from what's that? Russia? Yeah, Captain Khan. You know, but all right, Esau is a chess player, and the scripture says that he knows he held but a short time. All right, he knows that he held but a short time. But I'm gonna say that for another lesson I got planned. Okay, but I wanted to get this on wax too about us chiming in. You know, I'm only speaking from my journey and my walk and from my experience, but we have similar experiences. We might have a different direction. No, let me take that back. We might have a different way, but it's in the same direction, you know? We might have a different path than it's truth, but it's all going to the same direction. And it's hopefully a direction that leads us to salvation. All right? But once again, these videos, sometimes you'll get distracted. As the scripture says, how a man that warreth, he doesn't entangle himself with the affairs of his life. And you'll get out of tune with that channel, with that frequency. All right? You'll lose focus, because that's the nature of Satan with this matrix, man. This competition, this fight is designed for Satan to get you out of alignment, get you out of tune with that spirit, that frequency, that wavelength, that line, going back to Psalm 19. Because even when you're out of focus, And even when you're distracted, and even when you start to dance to a different beat temporarily, guess what? That ray is still going. That station is still being played. You just out of tune with it. You see? But Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi willing, he has mercy, all right, and allow you to get back in tune before it's too late. You know? A just man fall 7 times, but he rise back up again. Okay? Straight like that. Okay? But we have to get on that divine flow, that divine wavelength, that ray, that line, that divine line, that divine flow. You see? The water, brother. Proverbs 24:16. For a just man falleth 7 times and riseth up again, but the wicked shall fall into mischief. Just for example, you're in your vehicle, right? And ideally, you might be a brother that listens to maybe a little jazz, maybe a little classical, maybe some instrumentals, you know. But, you know, sometimes the flesh takes over, you might get distracted, the next thing you know, you're listening to rap or whatever, right? Not saying that a brother won't just listen to rap, you know? But what happened is you be like, damn, I forgot about this Mozart. And you'll forget how peaceful it is when you forget how peaceful it was when you was listening to just the instrumentals that was more conducive for the spirit. Other music, it feels good to the flesh, but that divine flow, that divine channel is for that spirit, man. Same thing with this truth. Now we'll get entangled, you know, into certain things, or you might astray, all right, for a while, but Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi might have mercy on you and he'll get you back in tune. You'll realize, like, damn, I've been out of tune with this station. Then when you get back in tune with the station, and Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, he starts supping with you, man. Because you're in that wavelength now. You know? You might have to change your diet. You might have to develop a pattern where you're more active, you know? You'll be surprised how your lifestyle affects your spirit, you know? 1 Peter 4:8, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, is a roaring lion. All right? Let me read that again. 1 Peter 5:8, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, is a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. 1 Peter 5:9, whom resisteth steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. Because Satan is trying to jump in the passenger seat. All right? He's that nigga that jumped in your passenger seat and turned your station. You know, you was driving, listening to the instrumentals that was good for your spirit. All right? He jumped in, he was like, man, what the hell is this? And he just asserted himself, you know, turned the knob. Now he listening to that nigga shit. You know? It's good to speak about tempers and all things, but Satan being Satan, now he's metaphorically speaking, making an effort to get you out of that frequency, get you out of that spirit that keeps you in tune with Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi. That's his job. He's gonna do his job, and we're gonna do our job by resisting. 2 Corinthians 10:4. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through Yahawah to pulling down of strongholds. Everyday battle. 2 Corinthians 10:5. Casting down the imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of Yahawah, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach. I heard a elder brother say this, and I have reason to believe that it may be truth, but I only speak as a man. All right? But Esau, he might have the technology, to know, okay, these particular camps, they functioning at a certain spirit or frequency, and he has weapons to change the frequency. Now, I could go back to, before I came into this truth, I was reading about harp, which is an acronym for high active, what's the name? High or active or rural research program or something like that. But it's basically Esau has the knowledge, has the technology to change the wavelength, but he could be targeting the elect. He could be targeting brothers and sisters who know that name. So like if I'm coming off as too, you know, but I'm just making a point. You know, Esau, he's taking you, he's fighting on a physical level to get you out the spirit, because Esau knows like, nah, they dealing with a power, this power, but it's changing the vibration. It's changing, you know, it's like a weapon. It's like poison to Esau. So Esau is making the effort to get us out of that spirit, man. Physical demon Esau, but also the spiritual demon say. Okay. But let me get up out of here. But definitely, that's why you have dreams that make an effort to make you just go off. Like, where did that dream come from? The movie called Inception with what's that, Leonardo DiCaprio. You know, Esau had that technology to plant ideas into your dream to alter your decision making. You don't think he has that? I think he does. But also, Satan, the spiritual demon, say that's definitely his thing. That's why when you wake up, you gotta pray, because you was on the spiritual attack when you were asleep. You know. But going back to the point, and I gotta keep it simple. You know, turn into Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi radio, man. Because there's a lot of distractions in this world. There's a lot of distractions in our phones. A lot of things that you can get warped off in. Sometimes you'll find yourself just going down the social media lane. You know, you're on that station. Or just, you know, things that kind of allure you. And you're just watching TikTok videos or whatever it may have you. Some informative and some is just folly. But we can't forget our main duty is to really chime in to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi radio. All right. But I'm going to bring this live stream to a closing. Hope it was of edification. All right. Once again, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, Bahasham Hakadosh. I also want to give double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well. All right. Peace and blessings. Health and wellness to the house of David the elect. Baba Ba. Kwame Shalom. Shalom.